Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Royal Institute of British Architects. My name is David Gloucester, and as Director of Education here at the RIBA, I'm delighted to welcome you to the 2019 President's Medal Ceremony, our annual celebration of excellence in architectural education. Before we start the ceremony, just a few housekeeping words. If the fire alarm goes off, please exit the building through the emergency exits at the front and rear of the auditorium. You are welcome and, in fact, encouraged to keep your mobile phones switched on. And do feel free to take photos and post them on social media. All we ask is that you keep your phones on silent mode and without flash. So we'll start tonight's celebrations by announcing the winners of the 2019 President's Awards for Research and of the Research Medal. We'll then announce this year's winners of the President's Medals in the usual three categories: the Dissertation Medal for the best written work submitted at RIBA Part 1 or Part 2 equivalent, the Bronze Medal for the best design project produced during Part 1, and the Silver Medal for the best design project produced at Part 2, as well as the winners of the Sargent Awards for excellence in drawing, of the SOM Foundation Fellowships, and of the inaugural RIBA Awards for Sustainable Design. Now, the President's Medals have been at the core of what the Institute has stood for since they were first awarded in 1836. And to tell you about their importance to the work of the Institute, please join me in welcoming to the stage the President of the RIBA, Alan Jones.
Thank you, David. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the RIBA and to the 2019 President's Medals ceremony, one of the highlights of our events calendar. As a chartered architect with long-standing links to the world of practice and education through my teaching position at Queen's University Belfast, and in my 2 terms as RIBA Vice President for Education, these awards are very close to my heart. Having sat on the judging panels that selected the bronze and silver medals in previous years, I can state without any doubt that this is one of the most important projects that the Institute manages and one that we should proudly celebrate. It is no coincidence that these awards have remained allied to education and the world of future practice and ideas since their early days. By celebrating precisely what architecture can be and what architects can be too, these awards keep alive the spirit in which the first silver medal was awarded 183 years ago. Back in 1836, the inaugural medal was presented to George Godwin for an essay on the properties of concrete, a material that, at the time, addressed the housing and community living needs of a growing urban population throughout Great Britain. The fact that the first medal presented by the Institute did not go to a building or to reward a career in architecture is very significant, because it highlighted then, as it highlights today, the importance of ideas in the development of the buildings envisioned by architects. As you will see in the award-winning entries tonight, it is reassuring to confirm that the future of the profession is not short of creativity and talent. This year, the RIBA invited the largest ever number of schools of architecture in the history of the awards to take part in this celebration of talent and hard work. A record 410 institutions located in 80 countries were invited to nominate dissertations and design projects, and for months, hundreds of entries arrived here at 66 Portland Place, London, from all over the world. After several days of judging, our panels agreed on the medal and commendation winners that you will see tonight. I would like to express my gratitude to the judges who contributed their expertise to the 4 panels that selected the winners in the research, dissertation, bronze, and silver medals. Having had the opportunity of judging the awards for many years, I know how hard they worked and how intensive it is. I would like to thank all RIBA staff involved in making these awards happen, particularly John Paul Nunes and Gillian Harrison in the education team for their hard work over many months, coordinating every single entry submitted for the awards and organising the judging panels and all the production stages leading to tonight's ceremony. They also coordinated the 2019 President's Medals exhibition that you will view in our gallery on the 2nd floor. And I would like to thank here at this moment Hobbs Reprographics for their support as the exhibition's printing partner. I would also like to thank our colleagues at the RIBA Journal for the coverage of these awards in their December edition. This publication will be found in 20,000 postboxes from tomorrow morning, although you'll be able to help yourselves to a complimentary copy after tonight's ceremony. You can also help yourselves to a copy of a book of abstracts of the entries shortlisted for the President's Awards for Research. I would also like to thank SOM and the SOM Foundation for their ongoing support of the President's Medals. I am delighted to welcome ARPR as the new partner of the President's Medals. As designers and manufacturers of furniture with close links to the world of architecture, ARPR are, this year, extending their generous support of the RIBA's awards program to include the academic community. Tonight, I would also like to express my gratitude for the generous support that we have received from architect Claire Richards and the Footwork Trust. The funds donated to the RIBA will allow us, for the first time, to catalogue and properly understand and reveal the RIBA's President's Medals archive. Claire, who has been a fantastic supporter of architectural education and of students, is a past RIBA Dissertation Medal winner. She has contributed to the management of our charitable trust funds as a dedicated committee member and a scholarship assessor and advisor. Her generosity is extremely appreciated by all of us at the RIBA and will allow the work of hundreds of fellow medal winners to be known and available for the first time and curated in formats that we will reveal publicly very soon. I hope you enjoy tonight's celebration of our Institute's rich history of supporting talent and the education of future architects. Thank you.
Thank you, Alan. We start by announcing the 2019 RIBA President's Awards for Research and the winner of the Research Medal. This year's President's Awards for Research judging panel was chaired by Dr. Branka Dimitrievich, Professor of Architecture and Director of Research and Knowledge Exchange in the Department of Architecture at the University of Strathclyde. And it included Dr. Edward Dennison, Associate Professor of Architectural History and Director of the MA Architecture and Historic Urban Environments at the Bartlett School of Architecture, UCL. Professor Rajat Gupta, Professor of Sustainable Architecture and Climate Change, and Director of the Oxford Institute for Sustainable Development and Low Carbon Building Research at Oxford Brookes University. Dr. Nicoletta Karastathi, Practicing Architect at Napa Architects. Dr. Marilis Ramos, Director within PRP's Development Consultancy, leading the Energy and Environmental team in London. And finally, Dr. Christine Wall, Professor in Architectural History and Co-Director of the Centre for Research into the Production of the Built Environment at the University of Westminster. These judges rigorously sifted through 48 papers submitted from across the globe and selected a short list of 13. They then met at the RIBA in late September to select the winners and commendations in each of 4 categories: history and theory, cities and community, design and technical, and our annual theme, which was building inequality. Out of the category winners, they then decided which would be awarded the prestigious 2019 Research Medal. So, to give you a feel for the judging process and the diversity of research submissions, we asked our judges to tell you about the work they encountered and have included their responses in this short film.
The scope and quality of the submissions for this year was amazing. It was very interesting to see how differently people do research.
The quality was very high, particularly at the high end, I felt.
What really struck me was the international nature of the submissions. They were covering a lot of ground in a lot of countries.
Researchers are trying to address topics of interest worldwide, and they are related to social, economic, environmental, and technological challenges.
I was actually very happily surprised to see things from other categories and outside of my field.
I was quite surprised at the aspect of how far beyond the boundaries of a building a lot of the research went.
There was a lot of work on issues and themes related to, of course, the climate crisis. It's heartening to see that coming through.
This is not a run-of-the-mill competition. This is very competitive.
In the top bracket, you can really tell the quality of research.
The key elements of rigorous research should include an element of qualitative evaluation as well as quantitative evaluation.
Of course, the 4 different categories are very different in their own approaches. For the judging panel to mark or to assess across those different disciplines is quite a significant challenge.
The value of research in practice is very high.
Research is something that can give an extra identity to a practice.
The world is changing so fast. Projects need to be approached from a research point of view, from an evidence-based point of view.
In the end, when you have a really good piece of research, then you can really tell and understand what happens to it. That's the importance of research, to get across a good message to any audience.
So we start by announcing the winner in the history, to present the awards, together with our RIBA president, I would now like to invite to the stage the chair of this year's judging panel for the President's Awards for Research, Dr. Branka Dimitrijevic. So, as I mentioned earlier, we start by announcing the winner in the History and Theory category. The title of the winning entry in this category is Papered Spaces, Clerical Practices, Materialities and Spatial Cultures of Provincial Governance in Bengal, Colonial India, 1820s to 1860s. This paper is an original and provocatively voiced piece of research, offering a clear glimpse into the far-reaching and central role of paper in securing Britain's colonial authority in India. The impact of the work has the potential to introduce new methods and perspectives in post-colonial studies from all over the world. And the winner of the President's Award for Research in the History and Theory category is Dr. Tanya Sengupta from the Bartlett School of Architecture, UCL. The second category is cities and community. The judging panel commended the entry between, below, behind, an ontology of small urban spaces in Hong Kong. The work showcased a fascinating comparative analysis that acknowledges a variety of spaces, whether created by topography, infrastructure, or design. Its scope and proposed categorization of sitting out areas and rest gardens contribute to wider explorations of the potential uses of leftover urban spaces. The authors of the commendation are Evan Valin, Xiaojun Liu, and Suzanne Trump from the University of Hong Kong. I'm afraid that the authors could not be with us tonight, so we will accept the award on their behalf. And the winning submission in the cities and community category has the title, "The Gulf in Bosnia-Herzegovina, an unintentional consequence of peace." Through analysis of the surge in real estate development in the post-1990s war period in Bosnia-Herzegovina, this research project aims to map the ways in which the country has been striving to position itself in relation to the movements of global capital. So the winner of the President's Award for Research in the Cities and Community category is Dr. Myrna Padalo from Goldsmiths, University of London. The next category is design and technical. And the award in this category goes to the entry Cork Construction Kit. Now, the findings of the potential uses of cork as a building material are an original contribution to research in the application of sustainable building materials. The comprehensive and thorough methodology used throughout was exemplary. The authors and winners of the award are Oliver Wilton from the Bartlett School of Architecture, University College London, and Matthew Barnett Howland from CSK Architects. And so we complete the presentation of the 2019 President's Awards for Research with the annual theme category. In this year's theme, Building Inequality, we welcomed work which investigated methods of improving and managing quality control, as well as new design and building techniques, improving the construction process and consequently the built environment. A commendation in this category is made to improvised architectural responses to the changing climate, making, sharing, and communicating design processes. This is an excellent piece of research, in this case a participatory and adaptive response to climate change in the Bangladeshi context. It evokes the importance of an active agency in such a process and how this can positively affect and shape communities. The author of the commendation is project architect and trustee of the Mannon Foundation Trust and senior lecturer at the University of Westminster, and her name is Tumpa Husna Yasmin Fellows. So the winning submission in the building in quality category is providing care quality by design, a new measure to assess hospital ward layouts. This is an in-depth study that offers valuable insights into the needs of residents in retirement developments. The research focus is timely, given an increasingly aging population, and the great deal of care involved in the methods used were admirable and rigorous. The winning authors of this year's themed category are Rosica Pachulova and Dr. Kerstin Saylor from the Bartlett School of Architecture. And now, for the research medal itself. Now, the winners you've just congratulated, like you, do not know which of them has won the research medal. So, with no further ado, ladies and gentlemen, it is my great honour to announce that the winner of the 2019 RIBA Research Medal is Dr. Tanya Sengupta.
Okay, thank you so much, and I'm obviously truly honored to receive this award, and my thanks are due to, I'd like to thank the RIBA and particularly the judges for continuing to value and support meaningful work in meaningful research in architecture, and we could do with all the support that we get. And also all my colleagues and friends at the Bartlett, but also many other institutions, and particularly my friends Megha and Jules, who pushed me to actually put in an entry for this award. And my biggest and my most sort of vital anchor, my family, my mother back in India, she's given me this scarf to wear, by the way, and my younger sister in Delhi, and my eldest sister, she's the real historian, I'm not, and my late father, he was a civil servant, and it is through him that I actually got first-hand experience of some of these paper worlds and papered spaces that I've written about. And finally, I just wanted to say that, you know, more power to research or histories and stories of, you know, everyday material practices, small places, and in parts of the world, often very far away from the metropolitan West, and working through disciplines, looking at, you know, ordinary protagonists, and hopefully this will yield richer and richer architectural histories, and all of us together, you know, not just the winning projects, but all the shortlisted entries and all. You know, it's collective research. Thank you.
So, congratulations to all our research category winners and to the 2019 RIBA Research Medalist. We now come to the announcement of the 2019 President's Medals, and we'll start by announcing the winners in the Dissertation Medal category. This year's Dissertation Medal judging panel was chaired by Dr. Harriet Harris, Dean of Architecture at the Pratt Institute in New York, and included Nick Axel, Deputy Editor at eFlux Architecture, Sean Rickenbacker, Associate Professor of Architecture and Director of the J. Max Bond Center for Urban Futures at the City University of New York, Dr. Ingrid Schroeder, Director of the MPhil in Architecture and Urban Design at the University of Cambridge, and Sally Stewart, Head of the Mackintosh School of Architecture at the Glasgow School of Art. These judges were tasked with reading 53 dissertations, the highest number of entries ever received in the history of the Dissertation Medal, and then met at the RIBA to agree the winners. To give you an idea of what judging the 2019 Dissertation Medal was like, we've captured the judges' comments on film.
The RIBA Dissertation Medal is an incredibly important and vital contribution to the architecture community.
To me, this is the Architectural Academy's investment in this arena, really asking some challenging questions and figuring out solutions that can empower people.
It's an explicit recognition of the integrity of the dissertation as a vehicle for communicating some of the more avant-garde and rarefied ideas within architectural discourse.
I noticed there's a tremendous interest in heritage, in craft. The use of old buildings came to the fore several times.
A lot of the work was incredibly courageous and really creating new pathways for practice and thinking.
Many of the dissertations we were looking at take a whole series of techniques to be able to explore a subject, and that's also a critical part of our discipline to develop new knowledge.
Encountering the diversity that was represented in the submissions really allowed me to re-emphasize to myself the value of scholarly research.
They had such a willingness to see themselves as research activists, not merely utilising a toolkit of research methodologies, but really seeing themselves as authors of methodology.
Once saddled with the realities of a changing landscape, this is a more positive response for me to see a shift in the work that's coming out from these young people.
The small selection that we came to at the end represent a group of authors that seem to have a tremendous sense of responsibility.
They do not see architectural knowledge as a complete body of work. They see it as a building, an expanding field of thought, and they see themselves as active constructors of that field.
It's wonderful to have an opportunity to celebrate such an extraordinary range of work.
So, to present these awards together with our president, I would like to invite to the stage one of this year's Dissertation Medal judges, Dr. Ingrid Schroeder. And the first commendation goes to a dissertation submitted by the University of Westminster with the title, The Reception of Refugees in the UK. The dissertation offers an ambitious and sympathetic investigation of the current circumstances and experiences of refugees in the UK. Working with first-hand documentation and interviews, the author addresses both the institutional and intimate aspects of the asylum process with great sensitivity and focus, and uses these to challenge the planning and regulatory frameworks underpinning the inherent difficulties faced by refugees. The judges felt that as our world presents new and often troubling challenges, it was inspiring to see the magnitude of research ensuring our profession contributes to a better understanding and development of solutions. The author was tutored by David Derrieux and her name is Fiona Grieve. And the second dissertation to be commended this year was submitted by Central St Martin's, University of the Arts, London, where it was supervised by Shumi Bose and Oscar Brito. Exploring the refugee crisis and its temporality, a sense of place for the displaced sheds light on the social, economic and cultural resources that a number of Syrian camps have become as beacons of resilience against spatial agencies of restriction and containment. Using diverse and pluralistic methods of inquiry that proved to be highly effective, this is an accomplished and very timely piece of research. The author of the dissertation is Lou Elena Bowie. Now, this year, the judges of the Dissertation Medal panel awarded 2 medals. And the first goes to Ages Through the Terrace, the evolving impact of age on social and spatial relations in the home. This is a very unique piece of work that employs historical ethnography to reveal the nuanced correspondence between the adaptation of the home and the shifting nature of family life through multiple generations. The author delivers a very useful sociological critique, together with rich spatial analysis of the topic, through fluent writing of exceptionally high quality. The result is a carefully researched, designed and produced document. The author was supervised by Harry Charrington at the University of Westminster, and her name is Ruth Pian.
Okay, I'll keep this short, but I'd like to thank my parents and my boyfriend for their unwavering support throughout my entire architectural education. I'd like to thank my tutor, Harry Charrington, for his great insight. I really enjoyed our discussions. I'd like to thank the residents of the homes that I studied for their openness and enthusiasm. They really helped bring the dissertation to life, so I'm really grateful for that. And thank you to the RIBA. This is a huge honour, and I will be forever proud of this amazing recognition. So thank you.
And the second dissertation medal was awarded Towards Effective Architectural Practice, Lessons from the Elthorn Housing Estate. This dissertation asserts that community engagement and participatory design are both practice and project. It assigns renewed value to users and citizens as harbingers of progressive ideas yet to be realised in a research-supported claim for enhanced collaborative exchange. The academy and professional practice and how each communicates intention to and with its users is described as vital in establishing effective and measurable design outcomes. The judges agreed that the author deserves significant credit for bringing a critical eye together with a genuine sense of empathy, and ultimately for creating an ambitious body of work executed with exceptional skill and care. The dissertation was nominated by the Bartlett School of Architecture, where it was supervised by Edward Dennison and David Roberts. The author and winner of the second dissertation medal awarded this year is Naomi Rubra.
Hello.
Congratulations.
Oh.
I beg your pardon.
The stage is yours.
Hello. Good evening, and thank you to RIBA and the judges. Thank you also to the residents of Elthorne for their generosity and open-mindedness through this whole process. Thank you to my thought-provoking tutors and incredible and inspiring interviewee, Jane Dark. Thank you. And of course, Leo and my wonderful family. This project sought to understand what it meant to live a good life on our estate. Really, it was a process of gaining true knowledge of my neighbours. I think, for me, direct user contact is not necessarily extraordinary, but is sometimes incredibly hard and missing from our education system. I argue in this thesis that we should really be driving the ethics of this process throughout pedagogy and practice in order to build and support resilient communities. So thank you very much.
Congratulations to all our winners in the dissertation category. So, to select the winners of the 2019 RIBA bronze and silver medals, we gathered two groups of experts from academia and practice at the RIBA over 2 days in October. As chair of the bronze medal judging panel, I was joined by Nikki Watson, RIBA Vice President Education, Liliana Giraldo Arias, Dean of the School of Architecture of the University of La Salle, Colombia, from 2006 to 2018, and currently Director of Urban Planning in Colombia's National Planning Department. Sheila O'Donnell, Founder and Director of O'Donnell Toomey Architects. Liam Ross, Architect and Senior Lecturer in Architectural Design at the Edinburgh School of Architecture and Landscape Architecture, himself a past nominee for the 2004 RIBA Silver Medal. And Narinder Sagu, Senior Partner and Art Director at Foster & Partners, and also a past nominee for the 1996 RIBA Bronze Medal. And on the Silver Medal judging panel, Nikki and I were joined by Jennifer Bonner, founder of MAL, a creative practice for art and architecture, and Associate Professor of Architecture and Director of the Masters in Architecture program at Harvard University. Perrine Devoyne, founder and director of Russian for Fish Architects and tutor at London Metropolitan University. Don Gray, Emeritus Professor of Architecture and the founder and head of the Kent School of Architecture between 2005 and 2019. And Jonathan Hale, Professor of Architectural Theory at the University of Nottingham and winner of the 1989 RIBA Silver Medal. After 2 very long but extremely enjoyable days that included viewing thousands of images and hundreds of portfolios, the judges agreed the most deserving design projects. And this is what happened over those 2 days. The remarkable thing about architectural education is it always absorbs by osmosis all the issues that are external to it.
Engaging with education allows us to unlearn what we think we know, learn about the innocence and the fresh thinking that comes through the educational system.
It was really interesting this year. There was a huge range of entries from all over the world. It's just amazing. And the quality of the work is really, really, really good.
There was in-depth research, there was a real understanding and awareness of sustainability.
Definitely there were a lot of concern around health, mental health, climate.
And the outputs, which were not just one project, but several projects, were well executed and beautifully drawn.
We appreciate very much those projects that were done with architectural language, very simple, very clear.
For me personally, it's a real privilege to be part of the judging panel.
One of the things that was very interesting and insightful for me as a judge was how diverse the judging panel is.
The most difficult part of the process is that initial sifting through, where we're trying to get those entries down to a manageable shortlist.
It was interesting to hear both from practitioners and educators. We were able to kind of cut straight through to topics quite easily.
The winner this year had a beautifully presented portfolio, and it was a real thesis project. It was something you could see a progression from start to finish.
What really distinguished the winning projects was the complexity with which they engaged with those projects and the sense of coherency.
The entries that were awarded and commended today all had a really strong sense of a student developing a voice.
One of the things that really stands out amongst the winners is a richness and intensity in the investigation and a kind of professionalism in the level of accomplishment.
The competition and the expansion of the competition over the last 15 years or so, it represents something of a benchmark.
It constantly makes people aware of what young people are thinking about their future environment.
In a way, it's looking at work by people who are just in the process of coming to understand architecture, and where the work tends to be quite concept-driven.
The time that when students are in an academic institution is the perfect time for those ideas to be really developed. It's great that these awards can support those ideas.
And so, to present the awards in the bronze and silver categories, together with the RIBA President, I would now like to invite to the stage the RIBA Vice President Education, Nikki Watson. So in the bronze medal category for design work produced at RIBA Part 1 or equivalent, the judges awarded 3 commendations. The first of these goes to Riyad Al-Nisa. The project offers Moroccan women who've become isolated or ostracized from their communities a place of sanctuary and acceptance. Underpinning the design are the benefits of natural environmental conditions, constructing physical and psychological well-being, evidenced in a gravity-fed natural water treatment system that uses only plants. The author was tutored by Barry Walk at the Bartlett School of Architecture, and her name is Imogen Dacey. And the second commendation at Part 1 goes to the Coventry Ring Road Press. So to rejuvenate areas around Coventry's Ring Road during its designation of City of Culture 2021, a part-temporary structure is proposed to look at the importance of a community-generated news source in a scheme where newspapers can be distributed to combat trends of fake news and propaganda, and culminating in a celebration of analogue media. The project was nominated by the University of Nottingham, where it was supervised by Negin Gorbani, Farida Maki, and Anna Mill. And its author is Samuel Kerin. The third and final commendation in the bronze medal category goes to the project Somerstown Community for Women. The project is an architectural exploration of declarations of female independence in today's world. It proposes lifelong private homes for elderly women, creating a community that keeps residents engaged with all aspects of society. By blending typologies such as ateliers and residences, the project provides a dynamic environment to practice and teach a craft. The author was tutored by Benny Allen and Kieran Hawkins at the University of Greenwich, and her name is Paula Pockol. And now for the winner of the bronze medal. With the title Wetland Frontier, the project proposes a speculative master plan that challenges the current approaches towards disaster prevention and landscape engineering in New Orleans. Straddling a 6-foot levee, the proposal facilitates the regeneration of the lower 9th Ward community and adjacent Bayou Bienvenue wetland triangle, areas affected by years of neglect and segregation. By developing a narrative of cooperative value creation, tapping on the wetlands' potential economic, recreational, educational, and ecological benefits, the scheme attracts, mobilizes, and retains a demographic that matures with restoration. The judges were extremely impressed by the sophisticated approach to restoration and community rebuilding, evident in a vast and diverse body of work of an exceptionally high standard. The author of the project was nominated by the Bartlett School of Architecture, where she was tutored by Johann Hibschmann, and the 1998 silver medal winner, Matthew Springett. We are delighted that she was able to travel from home in Singapore to join us tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of the 2019 RIBA Bronze Medal for Best Design Project produced at RIBA Part 1, or equivalent, is Annabelle Tan.
Thank you to the RIBA for this amazing, prestigious award. And most importantly, thank you for my always encouraging and always exuberant tutors, Matt and Johan. And thank you to my amazing, insane, and crazily talented peers at the Bartlett, who truly make what the Bartlett is today. Thank you.
As in previous years, the judges were also tasked with selecting the winners of the Sargent Awards for Excellence in Drawing. And at part 1, the Sargent Award goes to Common Fields, an architecture in response to the digital interface. Nominated by the Architectural Association, where it was supervised by Ryan Dillon, David Green, and Patricia Matomora, the project subverts the intent of social media by engendering a spectacle confronting personal and collective notions of identity and social interaction. The author and winner of the Sargent Award at Part 1 is Thomas Faulkner. The Sargent Award at Part 2 goes to the project Avian Air, a tropospheric bird sanctuary. This project is an investigation into how architectural storytelling can communicate anthropological concepts otherwise unseen and generate awareness of the need for climate action. It addresses this by proposing a bird-watching tower that is also a data park, monitoring and recording global changes in the migration patterns of birds caused by climate change. The author was tutored by Lindsay Bremner, John Cook, and Ben Pollock at the University of Westminster, and her name is Rachel Waitlin. Now, as part of their ongoing support of the President's Medals, the UK Office of Architectural Practice, Skidmore, Owings and Merrill also awarded the SOM Foundation Fellowships UK Award. Selected from this year's UK entries to the RIBA Bronze and Silver Medals, the fellowships were judged by a panel comprising Mina Husman, Sustainability Lead at SOM, Kent Jackson, Design Partner at SOM, Phil Obeida, Senior Technical Designer at SOM, and Kern Steemers, Professor of Sustainable Design at the University of Cambridge, and Simon Sturgis, Managing Director at Targeting Zero. At Part 1, the SOM Foundation Fellowship was awarded to Wetland Frontier, nominated by the Bartlett. So receiving her second award this evening, please join me in welcoming back to the stage Annabelle Tan. At Part 2, the SOM Foundation Fellowship went to the project Seed of Havana, Dissolving Condensers. Building on the spirit of collectivity and equal rights to the city that the Cuban capital has developed over the past 6 decades, the project takes a theoretical approach, invigorating the revolutionary aspiration by liberating the Soviet constructivists' social condenser concept. The seeds, socio-economic empowerment devices, act as dissolving condensers which are distributed and injected across urban voids to construct situations for collective empowerment, ultimately forging new hope for rebuilding the city's crumbling architecture. The project was nominated by the University of Westminster, where it was supervised by Nasser Golzari and Dr. Yara Sharif. The author and winner of the SOM Foundation Fellowship at Part 2 is Sun Yen Yi. And this year, demonstrating the RIBA's commitment to addressing climate change, the RIBA is awarding for the first time awards for sustainable design as part of the President's Medals. And these were selected by the same panels that selected the winners in the bronze and silver medals. So, the inaugural RIBA Award for Sustainable Design at Part 1 goes to the project Wetland Frontier. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming back to the stage for an impressive third time this evening, Annabelle Tang. And at Part 2, the RIBA Award for Sustainable Design goes to the project Blotting Ornithologics, the Calcutta Institute of Aviculture. Nominated by the Edinburgh School of Architecture and Landscape Architecture, and tutored by Dorian Wisniewski, the author proposes a new kind of educational institution for a polluted Calcutta. Inspired by the avicultural wisdom found in the writings of the ornithologist Satyacharan Laha, the new building prioritizes the logic of birds to challenge human lines of territory between city and jungle, within a spectrum of wetness, blurring air, water, and land. So the winner of the RIBA Award for Sustainable Design at Part 2 is Findlay McFarlane. So we now move to the announcement of the silver medal winners. And the first commendation in this category goes to the project London Euston. So, taking into consideration the history of British railways and the engineering tradition that allowed these to flourish in the 19th century, the project develops research in construction from renewable resources to propose a new design for London's Euston train station. Drawing from extensive research into engineered timber, the author proposes an elegant and eco-friendly building that incorporates a market hall and winter garden above the new rail infrastructure of Euston Station. The author was tutored by Dirk Krolikowski and Jakub Klaska at the Bartlett School of Architecture, and his name is Finbar Charlson. So our second commendation in the silver medal category goes to Graham Living. This project speculates and critiques the future of Instagram, social media, and the built environment. The digital culture of augmented facial enhancement through selfie filters and overlays is proposed to transition into an architectural application. Users can enhance any image or video to fulfill their spatial desires, allowing them to curate the online environment of their choice. In contrast, the actual physical environment operates only to serve bare necessities and functions as a stage to enhance and amplify the ability to live through social media. Graham Living was submitted by the University of Greenwich, where it was supervised by Thomas Hillier and Pascal Bronner. Pascal is no stranger to these awards, having been the recipient of a bronze commendation in 2006 and of the Sargent Award for Drawing in 2009. And 10 years later, the author of Graham Living has followed in their tutor's footsteps. Having won a commendation in the bronze medal category in 2016, in 2019, he is the winner of a silver commendation. and his name is Samuel Raben. So the third and final commendation in this category goes to the Mooncatcher. The project addresses the increase in mental health issues and hate crimes directly linked to social media. Acquiescing Soho's notorious history of nightlife culture and sex industry, the Mooncatcher proposes a diurnal space for London, where young people connect with nature's beauty, escape the blue light of the screen, and feel the pleasures offered by the body and mind. The author was nominated by London South Bank University, where he was tutored by Lily Kudich and Luke Murray. His name is Piotr Smichowicz. Now, you may have noticed that the connections between past and present winners of the President's Medals are numerous, and that many past medalists or nominees or commendees have gone on to achieve greatness on many different levels. So tonight, and just before we announce this year's winner of the RIBA Silver Medal, we'd like to celebrate the contribution to our profession by an architect who received the RIBA Silver Medal precisely 60 years ago. After graduating from the University of Manchester, he went on to study at Yale University before starting a professional career that has made him widely acknowledged as the most influential and important British architect of his generation. He founded his practice in London in 1967, and since then has become an ubiquitous name in the world of architecture and design. Over 5 decades, the practice has evolved to become one of the most significant worldwide and historically, being responsible for a very wide range of work from urban master plans, public infrastructure, airports, civic and cultural buildings, offices and workplaces, to private houses and furniture design. His work has made him and his practice deserved winners of every major award in architecture. In addition to receiving the RIBA Royal Gold Medal in 1983 and winning 3 RIBA Sterling Prizes, he has also been awarded the Pritzker Prize, the Premium Imperial Award, the Prince of Asturias Award for the Arts, and the Knight Commander's Cross of the Order of Merit of the Federal Republic of Germany. In 1990, he was granted a knighthood in the Queen's Birthday Honours, appointed by the Queen to the Order of Merit in 1997, and was honoured in 1999 with a life peerage by Her Majesty the Queen. More recently, leading his own foundation based in Madrid, he has developed a truly remarkable programme of education and research activities that confirm his tireless commitment to supporting young talent. At the RIBA, we've been privileged to have been entrusted with his generous donation of a fund that allows us to manage one of the most successful and prestigious scholarship schemes in our history. It is a true honour to see him back at the RIBA to celebrate the 60th anniversary of his own silver medal and to invite him to present the same award to this year's winner. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming to the stage Lord Foster. Absolutely, that's how the script goes.
I'd just like to say that it brings back some very good memories. I remember 60 years ago, Sir Basil Spence presenting me with the award. And talking earlier with one of the prize winners who was sharing insights into the background of her project, and in a way it went against the grain, and she was talking about risk, and that brought back a recall that the silver medal for me really brought home the importance of taking a risk, particularly in the pursuit of something that you believed in, because at the time in Manchester in third year, there was the tradition of a measured drawing. And a measured drawing was always about architecture. Architecture as seen by the School of Manchester. And that was always a Georgian building. And I had a passion about another kind of architecture, which was the vernacular. And at great risk, I measured barns, windmills, and that then was validated by the silver medal. So in a way, rather like the lady I was talking to, the risk carried its reward. And back then, the silver medal carried with it a cash prize, which was £100. And £100 back then was the equivalent of £2,000 today. And that enabled me that summer, to travel. And I discovered the works in Scandinavia of unknown architects, relatively unknown architects like Kai Fisker, much more well-known architects like Arne Jacobsen, emerging young architect called Utzon. And that really was the seeds of the traveling fellowship that you were alluding to. So it's a very nice circular path. And I'd really like to congratulate everybody who supported these prizes. Really, it was an amazing body of work just looking over that earlier this evening. So thank you.
Well, on this wonderful note, we come to the presentation of this year's RIBA Silver Medal for Best Design Project at RIBA Part 2, or equivalent worldwide. The winning project is called Surface Tension, Blueprints for Observing Contamination in the Sydney Harbour Estuary. Sydney Harbour is one of Australia's most significantly biodiverse estuaries, yet also one of its most contaminated. Remnant wharves, shipyards, waterbound infrastructure now define a modified and dilapidating shoreline. Using drawing as a critical method for historical and material exploration, this project presents a survey of 3 sites of post-industrial instability in the Sydney Harbour estuary. A set of blueprints emerged from this survey, exploring instances where sites of contamination may now open opportunities for renewal within the estuary. The project was nominated by the University of Melbourne, Australia, where it was tutored by Dr. Virginia Lee and Professor Alan Pert. We're delighted that the winner was able to join us tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in congratulating and welcoming to the stage to receive the 2019 RIBA Silver Medal from Lord Foster, Victoria King.
Firstly, I'd just like to thank the RIBA and the judging panel for this incredible honour. It's a wonderful opportunity to be able to take part in the ceremony here tonight. I would like to thank the Faculty of Architecture, Design and Building and Planning at the University of Melbourne, and in particular the Dean, Professor Julie Willis, and my tutor, Professor Alan Pert, who have travelled from Melbourne to be here tonight. I would also like to thank my tutor, Professor Ginny Lee, for her continual advice and guidance. I would finally like to thank my mother, who has travelled here to be with me tonight, and also my family back in Sydney, who really provided the inspiration for my project at its very beginning. So thank you so much.
Congratulations to the winners, their tutors, and the universities that nominated them. A big round of applause to everyone. I do hope that you continue to enjoy tonight's celebration by joining us for drinks upstairs in the Florence Hall on the first floor, and don't forget to visit the President's Medals exhibition on the second floor. Thank you all so much for coming and enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you.